Okay, folks, we're live. Dave Burman, good Monday night. The 2023-24 boys and girls high school basketball season has come to a close. Our special guest here tonight to wrap up the legendary Chester High boys basketball season for this past year. Keith Taylor, head coach, year number 7. I'm a stat guy. I'm sure I got this correct here. 72% winning percentage against some of the best competition you will play, Coach Taylor. 130. I know you're a humble guy, but I'm going to give out the stats here. My guys from Harrisburg are watching. My buddy Joey Gillaway from Linglestown Gazette shared the post here. Thank you, Joey. 130 wins, 41 losses. Chester High completing their 113th season, second all-time in wins, 2,025, got 2,000 last year against Chambersburg, out of Chambersburg. How do you like that? So a lot of connections with Central Pennsylvania. 25 District 1 titles for Chester over the years, 51 trips to the state tournament, 121 wins, 30 trips to the state Final Four, 18 trips to the state finals, 8 state championships. Absolutely unbelievable. And Keith, you're a major part of this program. It goes back a long, long way. And how many years have you coached besides being head coach? You were assistant for a long, long time.
I've been in this game a long time. I believe over 30-something years, Dave. Just being involved with the program since I graduated college. Came straight back home after the World League folded. So I came back home and figured out that it was time to get a job.
Yeah, so talk a little bit closer there.
Okay.
That's I really appreciate it. And yeah, it's unbelievable here. You graduated from Chester High in 1987. Had some battles with Billy Owens and Jeff Lebo and Carlisle. Your freshman, check that, your sophomore year, 84-85, 25-6 record. Final year for head coach Cliff Wilson. Made it to the Final Four, lost to Carlisle, and we can rehash that game. You did not actually play in that game. You got injured in the District 1 tournament, and Carlisle really, that was a first of 4 straight state titles, Hershey Arena, but you were there, and can you believe what you saw? Jeff Lebo, he didn't even play that game, but you saw the breakout game, really. Yeah. Billy Owens, for as a freshman, 23 points, 23 rebounds.
Hey, like I said, going into that game, we were very confident because Jeff wasn't playing and all that. So going into halftime, I believe we were up about 15 or more. Came back second half. Billy just took over the game. Once he took over the game, at that time he wasn't 6'8".
No, 6'3", hard to believe.
Yeah, at that time he wasn't 6'8", handling the ball, doing everything that he could do to will his team to a win, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and they had a lot of other guys besides Billy. Sean Hodge at the point guard, you had to deal with him. Yeah. But the experience you guys went through, what was it like going to an arena where 775 out of 9,000 people, 8,000 were Carlisle fans?
Yeah.
That's
it was amazing. It was amazing. Their fans travel well. Even my senior year when we played them at Reading, when we arrived at the game, the whole side was filled with Carlisle fans. We were just like, wow, where are our fans going to go?
Right.
So it was amazing. It was amazing seeing that and being a part of it.
Now, was it really fair for Chester to have to go all the way out to Hershey, which is 20 miles from Carlisle? It should have been an equal thing, but back then they wanted to put people in the enough to fill it filled it.
It wasn't fair, but still, you still have to play the game.
Yeah.
You still have to play the game, and we played the game, and unfortunately, they won.
And you were, in 83, you were in 8th grade, I believe. 82, 83? 83.
I was 8th grade.
8th grade. Were you at the game? Jeff was a sophomore, 31 points at Chester.
Absolutely. It was
first
amazing.
round state tournament, and Chester was 0 for 7 going into that game in state finals. And I tell you what, if they don't get through that game, they don't win it all that year.
That game was amazing. Just being a part of it, it reminded me of the game we just recently had against Coastville. the atmosphere, how crowded it was inside of the gym, and it was standing room only. Everybody there to see Jeff Lebo.
And that was before the internet, obviously, 1983.
Absolutely.
But people, the articles, and before you can get out-of-town newspapers, but the Inquirer did a great job previewing the old-fashioned you call up. And, of course, the Delco Times, Jack McCaffrey, Terry Toohey. Incredible. So, yeah. So then 85, Carlisle goes on to win the state championship, beating Major Harris and those guys, Darrell Porter and Pittsburgh Brashear. Then your junior year, first year for Alonzo Lewis, became, he won a couple of state titles for the Clippers. You guys were 16 and 14, and you started. Have some great articles and photos of you. Went to the state tournament, first round, got knocked out by Emmaus from Allentown, but that was a learning experience for a young squad, 1985-86.
And it was also an adjustment for us getting used to a new coach and a new different coaching style. Coach Lewis was totally different from Coach Wilson. So Coach Lewis, he wanted to come in and just really teach us how to play basketball, make sure we knew the ins and out of everything that was going on. And he had some players there that, let's say, didn't have the experience.
Right.
As in the past of playing on that varsity level in that type of competition. But they fared well. So once that season was over, we had some younger guys coming. I was the senior guy on that team. We had some younger guys coming in. That's when you had your Larry Yarbridge, your Mike Johnson, your Keith Woods, those guys coming in. So those guys were hungry because they were on the bench the year before watching. Also, Zane Shaw.
Yeah, Zane 87, 88 was his first year, and
Absolutely.
I was radio in Carlisle then. So then the next year, 87, your senior year, 26 and 5, Final Four again at the Geigel Complex. You played your tails off. Just too much Billy Owens.
Yeah. At that time, a few calls here and there. We believe that cost us the game. I fouled out that game. At the end, Larry Yarbridge was in foul trouble early in the game, so he wasn't able to play as much. And I believe, looking back at it, our younger guys, I don't know if they were ready for that type of atmosphere yet, even though they had played in some games. But that was just a totally different animal that night.
Yeah, so Larry was a junior on that team, and then Keith was a sophomore, and Lamar Dotson, Mike Johnson. Yeah, just 10th graders getting incredible experience.
Absolutely.
Then you graduated.
Yes.
Then you went to college.
Central State University, Wilberforce, Ohio.
Yeah, tell us about that experience.
It was a heck of an experience. One of the HBCUs that's out there, when I first went there are 117 of them. It's less now, but that was a great experience. Got a chance to really learn about myself while I was there. The things I liked, things I didn't like. Good education out there. Played for Kevin Porter. After my sophomore year, he became the head coach.
Kevin Porter, the Washington, the Bullets?
Absolutely.
Oh, he was a scrappy guard.
Absolutely.
Did he win an NBA championship?
He came after Washington had won it. He came that next year.
Yeah, because they
sale and all them.
That was 78 when the second year Dr. J was with the 76ers and they beat him in the we owe you two. So the Bullets beat him in the semifinals that year. Okay, now the Washington Wizards. So Kevin Porter, cool.
Yeah. Hey, he taught us a lot. Some of the things that we ran back then, I try to use with our guys now. Still works.
Right.
Some games.
Some games. Right.
Still works.
The kid's got to buy. What's Kevin up to these days?
He's recovering. He had a stroke probably about a year and a half or two ago, but he's recovering well.
So you went 4 years there.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes,
and did you play basketball all 4 years?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you start all 4 years?
Yeah,
I can't find any. I got to do more digging about that.
Please do.
All right. So then you're talking that was from 87, 88 to 91. And how were you keeping, without the internet, you had a phone, no cell phones, right? I don't think.
No cell phones.
Unless you're in the broadcasting, I think we used to have them. But anyway, how did you keep up to date? I know you wanted to go see Chester play. 87, 88, your freshman year in college, Chester had to play Carlisle and Billy Owens again.
I was there. I was home on a break. Played at the Hershey Arena.
Got off to a big lead, 13-2.
Yes, they did. Big fella. Damn.
For
Chester.
Al Clay.
Al Clay and the other one, the younger one.
Oh, Galen Howard.
Galen Howard. He got off to a big start. Then he got into a little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah.
And once he went down, we thought he was playing Billy well at that time. Once he went down with the foul trouble, that's when Billy started going to work.
Close game the whole way.
Yes,
it was it was unbelievable.
Back and forth, and a couple of turnovers at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I believe hurt us, and but it was an awesome game.
Yep, 61 to 53.
It was an awesome game.
And finally, Billy graduates, 4 state titles. Chester has all these guys back in 88, 89. And did you get a chance to go to any of those state playoff games, which have a big, Central Pennsylvania connection, as besides just Carlisle?
Trying to think if I made one up. I can't remember who they played. They were up in Hempfield. Was it Harrisburg?
That was actually in 91.
91?
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. Danny Bowie and Robert Tate, Zane's senior year. That was one of the greatest Harrisburg teams ever. But 88, 89, it was us and Glen Mills. We had to play Chester, a team in our own league. Glen Mills and Chester second round, double overtime, and Chester pulls it out, a game for the ages, which is on YouTube, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
James Spears.
Yeah, he was around when I was around. They probably say he's still around.
Yeah, really. He was a beast.
Yes,
Bobby Robinson.
Yeah, awesome.
Started at Ridley.
Awesome
End of the
guy.
year, he goes over. A lot different these days.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be eligible for the postseason.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were. And Bobby, it was an unbelievable double overtime win. Then Chester played Steel High, who was coming with Charlie Fortney, Rick Ativo. I know all those guys, and Chester really crushed them. That was at Reading. That was a state quarterfinals. The semifinal at the Palestra in front of 8,000 people against Rap Curry and Penwood. Did you get back for that one?
I believe I was there on that. Penwood got him on that game.
No, Chester, say semifinals, 80, semifinal,
Okay.
89, 88. Rap Curry.
Okay.
And Sean Day and those guys, and Chester pulled it out, an unbelievable win. And then the game with Brashear, we met Pittsburgh Brashear in the finals. That was 72-57. That was kind of an easy victory. They were more football guys, but they were really rough around the edges, and Chester didn't put up with anything. And a lot of trash talking back then. So that's when you were obviously there. And then real quick, 90, 91, or 80, 89, 90, kind of a rebuilding year for Chester. And then we still made it to the state second round, lost to Plymouth White Marsh. Okay. And then 90-91 is the year you were a senior at college, correct? That's when Chester met Harrisburg, Danny Bowie, Robert Tate, state quarterfinals at Hempfield. You were there for that one. Chester Zane fouled out. Zane Shaw was a senior, fouled out early in the third. And Chester rallied from 13 down to win the game big. Hassan Muhammad, the game-winning shot. Got the articles, yep. And Chester goes to the state semis, and we had to play for the 4th time. Glen Mills, and Chester lost by 2.
Yeah. Hey, that was an awesome game at Hempfield. Damon Cotman stepped up also. Once Zane fouled out, they were just playing. They were playing. Jimmy Dennis was there also.
Yep.
Yeah, one of my coaches. Awesome job.
And then we had to run the Glen, and Glen Mills did win the state, and they played Altoona the last time they made it. And one of the stars for Altoona, 6'7", 9th grader, went on to go to the NBA. All you Central Pennsylvania people remember him. And then he was Mr. Technical Foul. He was a crazy man. DF initials. Danny Fortson. You remember him. So I'm on press row watching that game. state final 91, and this kid, Glenn Mills, huge. And this kid's not scared at all. He's just, So anyway, but Glenn Mills won it. So, good for them because it was a Del Val team. So there it is. So then you graduate college. And then that was a 91. Then where were you? 90.
I graduated college in 92.
Okay, so 92, and then 92, 93. Did you jump right on board the coaching staff?
Once I came home from school, I went over to a practice one day, and Coach Lewis asked me, "Hey man, I need you to come over and help me out. Help out with the guards. They need you. Same thing somebody did for you. You need to start coming back and doing those things for them." So that's what I did. He asked me to coach the middle school team because at that time, Spencer Seaton was the middle school coach.
Oh, yeah.
And he had got sick at that time, and he wasn't able to do it. So Coach Lewis asked me to step in, take over for him. So that's how it all started. I really didn't want to do it due to the fact that I really didn't want to get into coaching at the time.
It was your first year out of college.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so what was your full-time? What job did you get right out of college?
I was teaching at Columbus. Mr. Willie D. Jarnett, who was the vice principal there, said, "Yeah, man, I need some help over here too." So he asked me to come over. I did that because that's my degree is in elementary education. So I did that, and at the same time, doing the coaching stuff. Coach Lewis, like I said, Coach Lewis asked me to come over. I went over to the middle school and I did that.
So 92, 93, very young team.
Yes.
Still navigated all the way to the state semis against Hazleton. Lost by 1 point. Unbelievable game. Young guards. You had actually Solo, drop my pen, that's all right. Solo was a junior, but you had Ray Carroll, sophomore. Maltzby didn't play that year.
The year before that. I mean, the year after that.
Yeah, and then you had just a lot of younger guys. I'm trying the Hunter boys, So and then we lost a heartbreaker.
I believe Manny Wimbush was on that team.
That was he was refereeing our Chester Biddy yesterday. I see him all the time, and unfortunately, that was his last game. Yeah. But you as a coach, and Manny Wimbush as a player, you helped groom those guys. Yeah. And then the next year we won the state title.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome. Coach Lewis did a real good job of just teaching the guys. He was old school. A lot of the guys didn't like it at the time, but I'm quite sure now, once they look back on it, they appreciate the things that he was trying to show them and teaching them at that time.
Yeah, Alonzo played at Darby, which is now they merged into Penwood in 82, 83. Hall of Fame career, went to LaSalle, big time. So you know all the history right there. His daughter, his grandson, Solomon Dotson, had a tremendous year on the football field.
And he also had a good year playing freshman basketball. Also playing freshman basketball.
Well, we could maybe, because we lose some guys, and so we'll get.
I saw him the other day, and I'm looking like, man.
How tall did he get?
He grew a couple of inches.
Oh, good.
He grew a couple of inches.
Good. Well, his mom was a great basketball player. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, we'll get to that in a moment here, what football, multi-sport athletes mean. You got to have them. So, 1994, we win the state title, and I'm honoring that on my Facebook page. So I think tomorrow is actually the game with Erie Prep 30 years ago. And you're on the bench for that. Yeah. So you were on the bench for Heartbreak City. And you were always calm. It seemed you were calm. I'm trying to think of Terry Thomas was coaching. A wild man, Mr. Intensity, Keddy Harris, and he still is.
he probably was the calmest out of all of us.
Keddy, no way. He was funny because there was a big play at the end of the Hazelton. We had the ball Chester down by 1 with 10 seconds to go, and Keddy's there schmoozing with the referee a little bit. I saw the big games on tape, and then we just missed a couple close shots at the end. But Keddy, who else was on that staff back then? 93. It was Mike White was the athletic director. I'll never forget that. Fred was on the staff, and proud of his Duquesne team that just got knocked out of the NCAAs. But anyway,
John Carter was there also,
and John Carter. So 94, what an unbelievable run, state champs, game with East Stroudsburg, and then 95 was Alonzo's last year, and heartbreak loss to Rizzo and those guys from Williamsport. Rizzo still, Derek Dixon, he was called back then. So lost a heartbreaker to them. And then I have the article, Alonzo went to Cheney. And I have an article, picture of you. It was a Delco Times article, 95, that you were in line for the job to be the head coach back then.
At that time, I felt as though I wasn't ready, so I didn't have a problem with Fred getting it. And plus, at that time, Fred was there all those years. And I felt as though it wouldn't be right for me to get that job when that man put in his work.
He started in 1981, so he was there 82. He was through all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got a couple rings too, and so do you. Besides, well, you didn't get one as a player, but you got some as a coach, assistant coach.
Yes.
So then, Fred, first year, 95, 96, we lose to Kobe twice, District 1 championship, then the state semifinals. And that was a terrible. That's a horrible loss.
All that stuff was like a blur.
Well, no, I
to me.
shouldn't say horrible, just heartbreaking. But
It was like a blur to me because looking back on it,
it was 96.
Just getting into it, the crowd, it was just different.
Palestra.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Mob.
It was just different.
Do you remember I was on the radio in Virginia and you would see me come up and stuff like that? Coach Pitt goes, I don't know how in the heck you do that. But anyway, I was...
and back on the radio the next day.
Well, I was... my shift back in Harrisonburg, Virginia radio from 1989 all the way to 2002. I got there like 5 in the morning. I was done at like 10. So... But I had, we worked 6 days a week though, so I knew that I could take a nap, and then I took a lot of the guys from down in Harris, a lot of guys. So anyway, so 96, and then in 97, the Jameer Nelson era begins, and tough loss to Norristown and Marquise Green. I'm going over some history if we can run down, and then you were still Andre Morton, and got the chance to meet Andre's son yesterday, and. Didn't know Andre's father was a heck of a player for Chester back. Percy. I found some stuff on him. Even the game against Ridley in '68, the District 1 quarterfinals, he scored his first 2 high school points. So I know his family's all fine. I love that stuff. I labor of love for that. So then you coached all the way, and you finally got the head coaching job in 2000. I think it was 17-18.
17-18.
So, and it's been... it's been a heck of a ride, but
when I didn't get the job in 08, I sat out for a year, I believe. Then I went to Chichester for 1 year.
Did you?
Ron Wilson was the
head coach. Okay. So that was Larry took over in after 09 at Chester. Unbelievable what an era Chester had. Jameer wins it in 2000, and others. I'm just throwing it. 2000 they win it. 2000. My state college people bust on me all the time. Willie Morse. That was an unbelievable game, though. We lost the state finals 2003. And Leslie, even you remember this? Okay. All right. And 2004, we had all these guys back. And H. Major Poteet, something happened where you won. A lot of guys, I don't know what happened. The guys were ineligible for the playoffs for some reason, but we still won the district championship.
Those guys was ineligible. That was the problem.
Something with grades or something.
They didn't do what they're supposed to do in the classroom, and that's what happens. So you have to take care of the classroom first. That's the main thing.
H. Major spent many years in Harrisburg, by the way.
That's not on him.
Okay.
That's not
all
on
right.
him.
I hear different stories.
That's not on him. Those guys have to take care of the classroom.
And then we won the District 1 that year, 2004. And they had to open up with, was it 2000? Wait, 2000. It was 2004. 2003. Actually, 2004, we won the district with the guys out, but the other guy stepped up, next man up. Then we lost to York High in the first round. Isaiah Anderson was the coach. I was at Strathaven. I was up in Lewistown at the time. And 2005, we win it all again. Unbelievable team. 2006, we go to the state semis, lose to Lower Merion after beating them in the District 1 championship. Lower Merion upsets DeJuan Blair and Shenley.
Absolutely.
2007, we go to the state final, lose to Shenley. I remember we played Harrisburg that year. And all my buddies, you were the first guy off the bus. You up at it was Kimber Gym, and you were so everybody loved you. You were like, oh my man, you're like okay, because it was so cool to have Chester up there. So Chester, we lose to Shenley in 2008. We win it all over in Norristown.
That 2008 team was amazing.
One loss to Danny Hurley, I think it was.
Absolutely.
And
Tristan Thompson was a sophomore. He came into the game and hurt us. He hurt us down in Florida.
St. Benedict.
Samarta Samuels was the man at the time.
yeah, St. Benedict's.
Yeah.
So it was Danny Hurley, who's won a national championship
UConn,
last year
yeah.
with,
Yeah.
Crazy. So 2008, we win. Then and Larry, oh no, Fred. Fred retires, and then Larry takes over. So you coach for Larry for at least a year. Oh, not.
I didn't.
And then the next year, Chichester.
Yes.
When did you come back to help out the program?
After that, I was still around. You know, I was doing things, still down the Boys and Girls Club, doing the different summer leagues.
I was surprised you were out that long. It just seems like you've been there the whole time.
Yeah, I've been around.
Oh,
Like I said,
okay, right.
I wasn't around, but I was around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then you take over Larry.
Yeah.
Late great. What more can you say about Coach Yard? I mean, we've lost some great ones, man.
We did. Sad thing, but we did.
And
Lost some
you know,
good ones.
and Fred and then Alonzo. But you're still with us, okay? You're young. Hopefully, you're only 55, probably. Yeah. Okay, so you got another 50 years to go. But anyway, you take over. Some heartbreaking losses, man. Abington Heights again out of Scranton. They've knocked a lot of Delco teams out.
Good thing is we had the shot. We just didn't make it.
Randolph.
We had the shot. We just didn't make it.
Well, both years. We lost to Abington Heights 2008. 18. Yeah, that was your first year.
My first year. The year before that, I believe they lost to them.
Yeah, in the state quarterfinals and overtime. And Abington Heights did win the state in 2018. So Chester were that close to being in the state finals and maybe winning in 2018 at 5A. And 2019, Jig Brickus in Coatesville, state quarterfinals.
Put it on us.
I remember Mo Nelson on Facebook. That never would have happened to my team. I'd be all over.
Well, different talent at that time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I was just, Mo.
It's easy to have all that talent, you know what I mean? Dealing with what we dealt with, but it is what it is.
You coaches got it.
You didn't win them all.
If you're on Facebook, you got to deal with it. I got to deal with it too. Even Mike Miller, he was the coach of Mike Alvernia. Okay, so Mike coached Danielle Marshall in high school. Yeah. And then they lost 91. They lost to Glenn Mills with Danielle. It was senior year. It was an unbelievable year. So I made a post about it, and a couple of Reading fans said on there, "Oh man, we should have beaten Glenn Mills. We played scared Coach Miller." Blah blah blah. But anyway, so you gotta love Mike. I mean, he coached your son.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
son loves him.
Yeah, Keon. So he's still around. Yeah. He's at the games, and Terry's assistant now under Mike's son at Alvernia. So. Right. All right, there's in 2020, the miracle shot. I remember interview on the air, state quarterfinals, and the virus thing comes through, and everything goes shut down. Yeah. But that was an unbelievable night. Carell Watkins, after two of our kids were taken from us the day before. Tell us that was March of 2020.
That was a tough day. Got a call from our secretary at the time and said, "Did you hear anything about a shooting or whatever?" So, I'm like, nah, what's going on? They said, well, two of our kids was injured or murdered. And come to find out the names, they were harming them. So that was tough. That was like one of the toughest days I had.
In your life, obviously. Yeah. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let alone, great kids, but tremendous athletes.
And not only that, having to tell the other players what was going on at the time. They can obviously see something was wrong with us. Coaching staff at that time. And you had everyone coming down, the counselors and all that stuff, grief counseling and all that. So they could tell something was wrong. Something was wrong.
So, and you're getting ready for a state second round game against Simon Gratz. Yes. So and you said how'd you get the team to play?
I asked them if they wanted to play or not. I asked them if they wanted to play or not.
Right.
And they all agreed that we want to honor those guys that we lost by playing. And they went out there and played well.
Live on CMP radio, the game-winning shot, Carell Watkins. No, the pass by Carell, and it was
Zamir
Carroll.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of the season. We would have
Shot
played.
heard around the county.
Yeah, and I interviewed you, the country. I think it made ESPN. It was unbelievable. And the pass by Carell was, and Carell was only a sophomore.
Yeah,
I think he was only a sophomore. So yeah, there's a lot of teams that who knows how far all the teams would have gone that year. And 2021 shortened season, but we went to the state semis and ran into Archbishop Ryan and Lemon broke all the records. And we had a home game, and then they lost in the state finals. But it's still just able to play that year.
I think that game, our guys were selfish. They were all trying to do it by themselves instead of depending on the team at that time. I believe that's what happened on that game. And they were the better team that day.
Then the next year, back to the state semis. I announced the game. District 1 champs, back-to-back District 1 champs, 2021, 22. Keith Taylor here, Chester head coach, boys basketball. And then I ran into Imhotep, who barely beat Marple Newtown. Well, you guys were having a struggle with Shippensburg out at Manheim Township High School. I was following both games online, pulled it out.
Yeah.
But Imhotep, first of all, you win your game, and then you study the Marple Newtown. How did I watched? There was like Hoosiers. They were just they were playing like a zone and hoping Imhotep would miss, and they were doing the fundamentals of blocking out.
Hey, that was a great game to watch.
It was.
That was a great game to watch. Glad I wasn't coaching that game.
The game with
Imhotep.
DeBona, the guard, controlled that game. A soccer player, for Marple.
Some amazing shots.
Right.
Some amazing shots. Imhotep just happened to be long.
They finally warmed down, which they kind of did this year with a younger team in Imhotep in the state tournament. Yeah. So then, you couldn't make the game. You were under the weather, and Durrell was the head coach, and that had something to do with it, probably. Yeah. But go ahead.
I believe if I was there, it would have been a different outcome. It's just different when your head coach is there coaching. Even though those guys, they did a great job. I wouldn't be in the position I am in today without my assistant coaches.
Yeah, let's give them a shout.
Those guys, they work hard. You got Durrell Moore, Kenny Tate, Jimmy Dennis,
I got to give a shout.
Terry Thomas, and this year we added Calvin Gilbert. Those guys, they did an awesome job.
Right. Conrad, was he?
Conrad Chambers.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we had Shep Gardner, but Shep Gardner ended up getting an assistant coach's job.
With Patrick Chambers at Florida Gulf Coast, Division I, ladies and gentlemen.
Doing a good job. They love him down there.
You got some comments here. Mark Francis Jr. says hi. Catania Michelle Fleming. Okay, so there you go, Coach. Love it. I love it. And also, real quick here, we were at Chester Biddy. I was announcing that yesterday. Chester Biddy Championship games at Showalter STEM, and Ralph Dorsey checking in. Great job yesterday. All right. He wants a shout out to the officials. Yeah. James Wimbush. Troy Omar Drawn, who looked exhausted. Marvin was cool. Marvin, still pretty good shape. Marvin Dukes. And my man, Poteet. Danny Poteet. I found out more about him, 1980 grad at Chester.
Yeah, they did a real good job. A lot of the folks over there were complaining about the refereeing, which they do all the time, but it is what it is.
Are you kidding me? They called it. I thought they called it great. They let a lot of stuff go. It was more than some of these.
That's Chester basketball. That's how those kids get better. And kids didn't complain. They just play basketball.
So 2022 state semis. Then last year, we didn't even make the playoffs, and that was again a learning experience. But we had some quality wins last season, 2022, 2023. Beat Chambersburg on the road. We beat Coatesville. We beat Chichester was good. We beat them at Chi. And that was a trying. We came so close. And making it, and you never know what could happen.
Yeah, that was a trying year. That year, we had lost some guys due to transfers and all that. But hey, like we said, the next guy up mentality, and our guys, we played well. That game against Chichester, in which we lost at home, Once again, we got the shots that we wanted.
Exactly.
We missed 2 or 3 shots at the end. Any other day, we make that shot.
Yep.
We make that shot. But like I said, if those guys did not transfer, I believe we could have made a long run. Not only just that year, but this year also.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I wish the guy, I kept following the guys, with Goretti and Bonner. And I just, we wish him the best. Lorenzo Jerkins going to Westchester.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Kyrie Womack or Rucker yet, but they definitely college basketball players. And then Corey Francis is also with Bonner, and he's a stud. We saw him at Chester Biddy.
He's a freshman.
Yeah, and the other freshman is Jabri Carroll. He's another.
From Chester?
Yeah. So
wow, all those guys.
But I think
places.
he would have gone to the Chester Charter School. See, I don't understand that. I know we have feeder program, but I don't know what kids go to Chester Charter, what kids go to Chester High. You know that better than me. But we have enough kids in this town to support both programs. Have done very well. And then this year, unbelievable. You get Dom Toy comes back to play after an unbelievable football season, District 1 runner-ups. Then you have the Duran and Jalen Harris right off the football field, sophomores, fearless. I can't believe how good of basketball players they were. They were unbelievable.
They played when they were young. So this is not like their first time ever playing basketball. They played when they were young down at the Boys and Girls Club also coming up. Then they happened to move away, and I guess they took a liking to football more wherever they were at.
Right.
And continued to play sometime, but still, this wasn't their first time playing basketball, so they knew how to play.
Jossier Thompson.
I mean, with those guys coming from the football field to the basketball court and doing the things that they did, you got to take my hat off to them. Those guys did an awesome job. We wouldn't have been in the position that we were in and won as many games as we has won without those guys.
Right.
I believe Dom Toy this year definitely might be player of the year from the things that he's done.
Yeah, that hasn't come. This is the Delco Times, which you should be coach of the year. I'm okay, and that's what I think, and I put it out there. And then, of course, Dom, unbelievable stats.
Yeah,
unbelievable what he did.
This year, I believe he was all in. I'm not quite sure if he was all in last year. I know he really wanted to do well in football. That's all he talked about, was doing well in football. And he had told me he was going to take some time to get himself together before the season for football. To take a rest from football, then get his mind right to come play basketball. Right. And that's what he did. He said, when I come, he said, I'm tired of losing. I want to win.
Well, let's talk about this past season, 2023-24. I mean, the regular season, only just 2 losses, Mass Civics and Science. They closed. They went to the state. And they're a school that's a charter, kind of non-bound. I guess charters are considered non-boundary. I get, So even though the Lincoln Park coach says, we are boundary, we only have the Pittsburgh area. He's a funny guy, the Lincoln Park guy that beat Carroll up pretty good in the Finals 4A. So, the season here, Mass Civic Society beat Constitution, made a deep run. And, let's sum it up here.
Like I said, going through the season, like I said, only mishap was Mass Civic and Science. They gave us a loss to Coatesville. We don't count that due to the fact that we feel as though we still were going to win that game, even though it was only 1:37 seconds to go. We feel as though we were going to win that game due to the fact that we have done it in the past.
Yes,
we were down before and came back and won, and we feel as though that was going to happen that game. But they gave us that L, so we didn't finish the game, so we received a loss, and that made it our second loss.
Learning experience for everybody in that game, and. We had to play him again in the district, and that was a similar type game.
And that atmosphere there, that game there, that reminded me of games in the past of like when Jeff Liebel played.
Yes.
Back then when he came to town, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
You're talking about standing room only.
Yeah, it was great. And everybody, John Allen, coach of Coatesville, had some great words for Dom, especially after.
Absolutely. Hey, that's what John is. John's a good guy.
Yeah,
a good guy. They know the type of player Dom was. Everybody around knows. I feel as though he got targeted sometimes,
Yeah.
but that's that. But still, you still have to play the game.
Yep.
You still have to play the game.
So nice regular season.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah.
darn good regular season. And then you get to the playoffs, first round. I'm trying to think who the first round game was. And you got it right there. And usually
Plymouth.
Oh, that was a tough opening round game, and that was not do or die, but still. And Coach Donofrio, and we've beaten them like 11 to 12 times now.
Yeah.
Okay, in the playoffs.
Right.
He just loves Chester. He loves it. Coach D, my buddy Mike McClure, the gray hair guy. Yeah. I went to college with him in York. Mike's been there forever.
Okay.
So and they just love playing against Chester. It was similar to the 2019 district playoff game where Chester beat Plymouth White Marsh, and they have a lot of guys coming back. So that was it tells that was a pretty intense game.
You got to remember that game. Carell Watkins didn't play that game.
2019, yeah.
He didn't play that game.
And this is a similar type game here.
Yeah. It was, once again, great atmosphere. Guys played hard, did the things they had to do to win the game.
Then Coatesville, that one done.
Got that win done.
And then at Lower Merion, the semifinal, we've made 50-some trips in the District 1 tournament semifinals, which is insane. And then I had to play up there. Which is different atmosphere. Kobe Bryant Gym. Mm-hmm. Coach Downer's been around for a long time, and was PA announcer for another Coatesville playback in.
You're doing too much.
But I was following,
Yeah.
But they need a lot of places need public address announcers. Sure. Coatesville, they like what I've done. Appreciate that, Red Raiders. Anyway, so then you guys, I was following, and then somebody said in the crowd, or sent me a text, Lower Merion's going 4 corners? Is that true?
Well, they slowed the game up, which was a smart move on Coach's part. Plus, at the same time, give his guys some rest, and you're running the clock at the same time. You know what I mean? And you're protecting your lead. So that's smart basketball.
Okay. Well, Greg's done that for
absolutely.
Forever. Yeah. It went down to the wire.
Yeah. We had 3 turnovers in a row, I think, that cost us the game. One may have been a foul. Who knows? But they didn't call it, so it's not a foul.
Right.
Don't mean it didn't happen. But 3 turnovers in a row, and they cost us.
And then the consolation playback game against even though Nelson Lamazana was ineligible this year, they made a heck of a run, Westchester Henderson, and that was, again, down to the wire. Yeah. I think we missed 17 foul shots.
Foul shots and decision-making. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, I don't have any video in these.
Yeah. Foul shots and decision-making. Made some bad choices at the end of the game. Hey, you live and learn.
Then the Reading Red Knights, everybody was fired up first round. They have to come down here. The state championship pedigree. No Rick Perez, but he was in the house.
Yeah,
I saw
him standing down
Rick
there.
was in the house. And Kamara's done a really nice job for them in his first year. They did have 2 starters back, but lost a lot. But it was a crazy game. Chester was down by 18, the Clips, and then we come back, and we were right there at the end. Yeah. And I did see that, and it was just wild.
Yeah, we got down early, and it hurt us. It took out a lot of us to come back to get back into the game. Even though we were in there, had a chance to win it. Ref blew the whistle, put his hand up. Everyone thinking he called a foul. The clock should have stopped, but it didn't stop. The ball hit up top.
Yep.
And the horn goes off, and he just blows it. So it looks like I'm chasing down. I'm just trying to figure out.
Durrell was right behind you, or was he in front of you?
He might have been behind me.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm like, you blew the whistle. He said, you had to call a foul. I said, I didn't call a foul. So you didn't call a foul. You said the ball hit the top. So that means there's still more time on the clock.
As he's running off the court.
Yeah.
And they did with the McCamden game against, I forget the team they played from Jersey. Yeah. Those referees hung around, unfortunately, and they let the refs change the call.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, those guys just got off the court. So, and it was just a heartbreaking end of the season.
Yeah,
and
our guy definitely got fouled. They just didn't call it. So,
And then
Here we are.
Reading, then they had to go all the way out in the Erie McDowell to overtime, and then
they had a great year.
Yeah.
They had a great year. Kamar did it. He's done a good job with the guys that he had.
hopefully we'll get to play them. I want to see us play Harrisburg again, the Cougars, and they've had a rough 4 years.
Yeah, last couple of years. Every time we contact them,
The Cougars.
yeah, they're
their AD Calvin Everett's also the football coach, so I'll try to put I'll put a word in for it.
Yeah, because like the last time we played, I believe we went up there and played them.
Yeah,
We were there and played them.
not Michael Parsons era, was it? No, a couple of years ago. Yeah, but I
years
remember
ago.
the Michael Parsons game. And Jordan Camper had a slam on Mike. I had that picture right there. So anyway, and that's the end of the season. And talk about, you don't have many seniors.
Well, we have 5 leave.
We have Dom.
Yeah, Dom,
Atkinson. Vincent Coleman.
Dante Jackson Payne, Calvin Williams.
Calvin, yeah.
And you had Andre Brown.
Oh, yes. So tell us about the future. Dom's playing football, University of Connecticut.
Yes.
Ahmad Noel from Imhotep will be playing basketball for Connecticut, so they'll be teaming up, playing pickup ball probably. So tell us about C.J. Williams and Vincent and Andre and Atkinson, the possibilities for those guys.
Yeah, those guys, they're looking at some schools right now. Been in contact with some. Some have come down asking about them, so they're looking forward to the next part of their life.
Delaware County Community College is another one. I just want to see as many kids.
Reds has been he's been coming around also, talking to some of the kids, trying to get them to come there too. If they're not ready for D2 level.
Yeah.
So
or D3. I don't care.
D2, D3, whatever.
Maybe Alvernia. Have they reached out at all? So.
Yeah, that's why Mike was there. Mike's still helping out his son.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike was actually asking about Vinny D'Angelo from
Westchester.
From Swarthmore.
Okay.
So he has another possible year, and he asked, and I say, hey, contact Steve Maloney, and then I contacted Steve. Well, I asked Steve if he, whatever. But Vinny, what a career he had at Swarthmore, and we played against them in Chester. He put an unbelievable game against Chester 2018. So. What's in plan now for the younger guys, and you have some spring stuff coming up.
Well, future looks bright. Guard wise, we should have some smart basketball players coming up. Not saying that we didn't have any, but we should have some young guys coming up. The talent is real good, as you saw yesterday. All year, those guys playing. I just love watching the younger kids come up and play, how intelligent they are, their IQ. We talked about the Swiggett kid. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome
he's a sixth grader, his dad. Grader. So all these kids, I always ask the parents where they're. Yeah. But the Haley kid, 6'3"ish, 6'4", I mean, an eighth grader. Dad, so
Jalir.
He told me some schools are looking for football, but the great thing is, folks, you go to a Chester High public school, you can play 3 sports, 4 sports, and that's what it's all about. So his dad was all excited to be a Clipper. That's what his dad told me.
That's what I'm going to get at. I hear most of these fans talk about sending their kids to all these other schools. My thing is, your child can get the same type of education here at Chester Upland School District, instead of having to go somewhere else and try to get education. If you want an education here, you can get an education.
No doubt about it, yeah.
And it has been done. And also at the same time, basketball. This Chester High School is one of the #1 basketball teams in the state each year.
Right.
Each year. So why are you going somewhere else to play basketball? Whatever they're giving you there, you can get here.
No doubt about it.
And it has been done.
Yeah, look at it. We have two Division I guys coming back football wise. The Harris twins. You got Dom Division I. You got tell me about Jasir Thompson, one of our big 60 guys, came to our event a couple of times. So proud of that guy.
Hard worker.
Yes.
Hard worker. He gives you everything he has. He gives you everything that he has in him. That's the type of kids that we have now. You know what I mean? They coming up, they laying it all out on the line. They doing everything that we ask them, and we continue to working with them.
And Dallas Thompson.
Yeah.
Got him back too.
Yeah.
Right?
He was our true point guard that we had this year. He was the one that we thought really could run the show for us. He has to make a few slight adjustments that his game will be good. He has to become more of a point guard instead of trying to be a scoring guard all the time. You need to set the table.
Yeah, I saw the Solo Shaw's stepsons yesterday, the Granberry boys. Unbelievable talent.
They're coming up.
Yeah, I saw
coming
so many kids. I saw Mo Nelson's young kids.
Hey, they loaded. Them little guys gonna be good.
Oh, I think he's.
Yeah,
I
they're gonna be
know.
good.
I saw
Yeah,
the
they're
skill,
gonna be
the
good.
IQ. You could tell right
Absolutely.
away.
They're gonna
You know
be
what I
good.
mean?
Hey, Chester basketball has been around for years, and it's going to continue to be around. You know what I mean? Even if folks take their kids away or not. It's funny how sometimes they take their kid away, and down the line, their kid returns back
Yes.
to the school. And so when they're here at the school and they tell me that they want to go other places, I'm like, for what? Everything you need is right here. You know what I mean? Then after that, they continue want to go. God bless you and good luck to you.
And you have an open door policy, obviously.
Absolutely.
You and your coaching
I'm saying that's
staff.
what I try to tell folks. You don't have to go to other folks if you have a question about our program. Come talk to me.
Right. Mark Francis Jr. How can we
Franchise.
father,
Grandfather.
the fisherman, and grandfather Bunky Francis? You still got some of the old heads there. I see Kerbo's up there. You got Robert. You got they're up there. They're up there in the crowd.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
And Fred would always say, "You could hear him. You could hear him. Can you hear him?
Oh, sometimes.
Have they mellowed a
Sometimes.
little bit? Oh,
Oh,
Curb.
they
I want
have.
to know about Curb.
Kerbo's still up there making all that noise.
Yeah.
But you hear them.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that they come. They come to the home games. They come to the away games. They're some of our biggest supporters, and I love having that. They call me, Coach. How can I get tickets to the game? We got you. Only worry about we're gonna get you there.
Good.
Yeah, so
And public, from one public address announcer to another, I love Peach Howard. He's been doing it a long time. He does stuff that I wish I could do. I just don't do it. When another team travels too many steps, traveling. It's
a
and
free
everybody's
ball.
cool. Everybody's the opposing team.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
that his thing. But Peach, man, he's assistant football coach. You got to have him. He's the old head. He's a historian too.
yeah, he gives it his all. No matter what, he gives you the best. He makes the game interesting for folks, and also not just at the game, away from the game. If you want to know something, a lot of folks call Peach. Peach gives them the information. Somehow he always knows.
Yeah, Chester Shipyard. He's got
Yeah,
that.
he
He's doing
always
the
knows,
baseball. We should have a good, a tremendous track and field season coming up. So, how many guys are coming back from this team? If you have 12 guys on the team,
We have,
at least
we have
6
like
or 7.
We have like 6 guys coming back from last year's team. A lot of guards. We have Ralph Dorsey's son coming back.
Right.
Miles Dorsey. Jasir Thompson.
Right. I would love. There's a couple guys I saw. A lot of talent. Latrell.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the kid.
Nyrell Prey.
Nyrell.
Yeah.
Nyrell. And he has so much talent, but you got to keep working with the guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We don't know if he's going to be back. I believe he said something about he's supposed to be moving to Texas or something. But
he could be a star.
yeah,
He
absolutely.
could be a star.
If he comes back, we here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the good kids that always constantly want to work out, always want to be in the gym. Got a lot of things going on, positive things that's going on. And a terrific kid. And
So the JV team had a good year too.
yeah, they
obviously.
did.
Yeah.
We have some kids. A lot of our guys that were on the varsity team played JV. I wanted them to get some time playing out on the floor, so that's why we had them playing JV.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I can't believe how quickly this hour went fast.
Yeah.
I did finally look at the clock. Anything else? It was. How'd you feel? 2 publics. Here's another thing. It shows the Philadelphia Catholic teams can be beat. 6A level. You saw it this year. And you had Parkland from Allentown. who we've played over the years, and of course Central York, and that was a great game. And they like what 8,000 people at the Giant Center. So it's good to see, and it can happen.
Yeah, and it still doesn't make it fair that that some of those schools are able to do the things that they do. And do things that a public school can't do. As far as going out, if you have a 6'6", let's say you have a 6'5" kid graduate, you're able to go out and get a 6'8" kid, bring them in.
It's starting already. I see. I hear.
So, it is what it is. You just have to play the game.
Yeah, you really do. Now, the PIAA seems like they are cracking down a little bit on the Catholic League schools. Like Roman had 3 guys out, for the.
Yeah, anybody transfer
but
you had, they were out.
But the coaches I talked to in the Catholic League, they don't want to be. They told me they really don't want to be in the PIAA state tournament. They miss the old Alhambra tournament they used to have back in the day, but the PIAA wants them in. Yeah. So, they're in it, and they want to win it, obviously.
I'm not going to speak on all that, but
okay, yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. I'm just that's great.
You could talk about it.
Yeah. I get enough conversation on the Facebook and the Twitter. I don't get on Twitter as much as I can. But anyways, anything else, Coach? I really appreciate you coming on. It's great to have you, man.
I just appreciate you having me, asking me to come. Always willing to come. Now to the younger folks that's out there, hey, if you're looking to play basketball, want to be good, Chester High's your place.
Yes, and congrats on your award here, CMP Radio. Got Leslie, Jean-Pierre's on a road trip. And congrats, real quick, the girls program. Boo couldn't make it here today, Coach Dukes, but 14-9, winning season and playoff berth, first time since 2014. Similar situation as you, but a lot of girls are back and maybe more to come.
And they're on the move. Some of those young ladies are playing flag football, too. You got to check them out.
I know.
They're real good.
I got to get hopefully to one of the games.
Shout out to Anthony Moss.
Yes.
And Baldy.
Baldy, yep.
They're doing a good job.
And multi-sport athletes, get it done, man. Yeah. Track and field, try your best. And high school goes so fast. Yeah. So does college. And before you know it, before you know it will be, it'll be 2024, 2025.
They moved everything up next year also. The first official game will be Black Friday, the 27th of November.
It's kind of old school. Yeah, they did that back in the day. So the season's going to end another week early?
I don't know how about that. It ending early, but first they moved everything up.
Your schedule next year? You got the Del Val, obviously, and then any other?
Got some other teams that we're going to try to line up. I haven't really been into it yet, but as soon as we get back to school, I'll be on it.
Right. So, and your full-time job now, you work for the school.
For the school district, absolutely.
I had Mrs. Bowers on. And she was talking about it. Was great to have her on the show, about what they do with mentally, how they help the kids out. You know what I mean? So
we're trying to get them to come in and do more with our sports program.
Right.
With that part, because our kids deal with a lot of stuff. Not only in school, but outside of school, and everything. So they're dealing with a lot, and just need that extra push sometime.
Yes.
To get them over.
All right. Well. How about Mount Pleasant? We going to play Keith Hines. He's related to you. Brian Hines.
He's not related to me. He's not related.
But he has Chester connections,
yes,
I think.
He does.
Okay.
Yes, he
so
does.
Anyway, I did see that game. Yeah. Watched it on TV. Yeah. I did a couple of their games on PA, so that'd be awesome. We can match up next year.
He speaks highly of you.
Brian. Brian. Yeah. And Coach Potts was there yesterday, and he was talking from Mount Pleasant assistant. He's the Kenny Harris of Mount Pleasant.
Yes,
that's right. So your son.
My daughter played for him, and my son.
Coach Potts. He said he graduated '94, and he had some. I forget what high school it was. It wasn't Mount Pleasant. But anyway, he said he had some battles with Chester back in the day. All right, so and again, congratulations, 30th anniversary, '94 team, state champs.
Appreciate it.
All right, Keith Taylor, thank you very much. Leslie Wilson, thank you. Engineer, CMPRadio.net, Delco Sports 360, Dave Burman. Everybody have a great week.